Hello, welcome to this week's phone show. This week, making the headlines is the Samsung Galaxy Alpha. Rumours are still stirring around the specs and details of this device, although they may have been confirmed with a leak on the online web store Mobile Fun. The details on the Mobile Fun website state the Samsung Galaxy Alpha has a 4.7-inch screen, a 1280 by 720 Super AMOLED display, an octa-core Exynos processor, 12-megapixel camera and a 2.1-megapixel front-facing camera, priced at £549. We will take a closer look at the Alpha later in the show. In other phone news, we now have a potential launch date for the much-anticipated iPhone 6. September 9th is the date when the iPhone 6 is expected to be released in all its Apple glory. All eyes are on Sony, who are looking likely to announce a Sony Xperia Z3 compact at IFA. According to rumours, the Z3 compact will have a 4.6-inch HD display, Snapdragon 801 processor, 3GB of RAM and a 20.7-megapixel camera. The Google Nexus 6 is rumoured to be released late October or November, priced at approximately £300, and hopefully will contain the next version of Google's OS Android L. That's it from me. Now it's over to the sofa with Gareth Beavis and John McCann.
Hello and welcome to another phone show. We're back, we're here again. John, are you excited?
I am, always excited, always.
Bonjour. So this week we are talking about the Samsung Galaxy Alpha. That's the big topic at the moment. So to give it a kind of some context, what we're thinking it's the Samsung Galaxy Alpha is going to be will be the sort of Samsung Galaxy S5-esque in specs in certain ways, with a metal band and the same kind of rubberized back, but with a lower res screen and a lower spec camera. Is that, what do you think? This fits kind of? I'm trying to type it. Well, it's very difficult to know why Samsung is making the Galaxy Alpha other than just to compete directly with Apple at the same 4.7-inch screen size.
I think that's the sole reason it's making it, because otherwise they've already got the Galaxy S5 Mini, which obviously gives you the S5 design in a pared down package, but yes, the specs aren't quite as good, whereas the Alpha looks like it will inherit sort of processor speed and RAM from the S5. But as you said, a smaller 4.7-inch 720p display, and the iPhone 6 rumours are saying that we'll get a 4.7-inch iPhone 6. So there's a direct.
But a higher res display though.
Quite possibly, yeah. So that would be an interesting trade-off. And the other thing that everyone's talking about is the metal body.
What I don't understand is if this is Samsung's play into premium design, which it needs badly, because every criticism that comes around from the Galaxy S5 was it doesn't feel premium enough. It doesn't feel like it's made well enough. Same as the S4, S3. S2 was it was okay because that's what phones are like. But things have started moving forward, and it's just I still don't understand why, why only do it halfway and not make the whole thing metal. I mean, obviously there are lots of engineering problems, like making actually so you can make phone calls and stuff is quite tricky when you've got an all metal body, but it's possible. And I don't know, it seems like why do this?
Cost-wise, I'm sure Samsung is the bigger it's got, the more pressure on it to make more and more money. So how can they make a lot of money very quickly? And that's avoiding a premium material like metal. And it needs to make the money back because it's growing at an exponential rate, the whole company. So to make sure it stays afloat and it stays profitable, it needs to ensure that its bottom line is still managed. Okay, so if the Galaxy S5 exists, then does this not come to cannibalise that? Especially when we've got the fact the Galaxy Note 4 is following, or maybe launched after or around the same point. So the Galaxy Note 4 and the Galaxy Alpha are out at the same time, kind of flank either side of the Galaxy S5. I mean, the Note 4 I don't think really a problem. That's the phablet market, which is quite separated from
it was,
the place
but
where
you've seen the kind of the popularity in the rumours and everything of the Galaxy Note 4. People are really excited about this device, and rightly so. It's going to be really powerful, bigger screen.
I'm not saying they're not exciting devices. I'm just saying I don't see it as a particular issue for the S5 sales.
Well, if you're a Samsung fan, which is how people do see things, they like to stick with brands. It gives someone another option, and it's good to have options. But I mean, if as we've seen, the Samsung Galaxy S5 sales haven't lit up the market. Isn't the last thing you want to do is try and cannibalise them with something else? I mean, unless you just taking a more holistic view and thinking, I want to sell as many phones as possible, which is obviously fine, but you need to have, I feel like you need to have a really premium flagship phone that's doing really well and selling really well and everyone likes to kind of keep the momentum going forward.
And Samsung has sort of shot itself in the foot with the S5 a bit then, and the Alpha, maybe it's an attempt to get back on that premium bandwagon, but really it's a bit late. Because people now at this stage still looking for a premium smartphone will be waiting to see what Apple brings for the iPhone 6. So if Samsung launches the Alpha, then people are might be interested, but they're unlikely to just jump out and buy it. Whereas the S5, people wait for that and they get it, and the same with the S6 next year.
So how much do you think the Galaxy Alpha is going to cost?
Now, rumours are saying it's actually going to be quite expensive, sort of
exactly
£500 SIM-free, which is basically the same as the S5, the M8, the G3. So that would be really expensive for a phone which has a 720p display.
Yeah.
Yes, it has quite a bit of power, but it's smaller than the rivals, and obviously the screen resolution is a big thing now, especially in the high-end smartphones. They're made for consuming media, be it games, movies, TV shows. So that would make a big difference. And if the price tag is real, that's just another show of intent that Samsung is really going after Apple.
The point is, if you're going to make those higher cost products, you have to back them up with solid devices that actually are worth it. Do you think that will be enough of a push to the consumers that, despite how, the sort of maybe the subpar screen or the camera not being enough or the design not being quite, will that still be a good enough package for people to go into the market and think, you know what, yeah, if I'm going to go with Samsung, I'm going to go this phone?
If they're really concerned about design, maybe it will be, but at the same price as the other flagships from this year, you'd be hard pushed to recommend it above an HTC One M8.
But it's a bit smaller.
It is a bit smaller, so yeah, people who want a slightly smaller handset, that it could be a feasible option, but if you look at them side by side, you go, well, for the same price, I could have a phone which is slightly bigger, but actually it has a whole host of extra benefits.
And what other smallish phones will be on the market around the same time, John?
Well, we're thinking that at IFA 2014 in Berlin at the start of September, Sony's going to launch a couple of things. One of those being highly tipped is the Sony Xperia Z3 Compact.
So the Z3 and the Z3 Compact, both launching at IFA.
Yep.
I mean, let's gloss over the fact that it's insane to keep relaunching a flagship every 6 months.
Yep.
From Sony. I think the Z3 Compact sounds like it could be pretty good.
Yeah, looking at iPhone 6 rivaling handsets, obviously Samsung looks like to have the Alpha. Sony's attempt could well be the Z3 Compact, 4.5 inches or 4.6 inches we're seeing now, full HD display. And
full HD would be a big deal, wouldn't it?
Exactly, definitely. That would immediately elevate it above the Alpha. You can expect the same sort of omni-balance industrial design.
Yeah. Sony's design is really good, isn't it?
It's solid. It's premium materials. It's highly functional, and it looks professional.
Yeah, it's not to everyone's taste, but I feel like Sony's got a direction. It goes with it, and the people that like it really like it. I mean, it is a bit industrial. It doesn't quite have the kind of the elegant lines of the One M8.
It's becoming iconic, though.
Exactly.
You can see a Sony phone now, and you know it's a Sony phone.
Yeah.
And that's really what they needed after the Sony Ericsson split. They needed to make, we are Sony. This is what we do. This is what we look like. And now people are getting that brand sort of recognition eventually.
Yeah.
But looking back at the Z1 Compact, which launched at the start of this year.
Yeah, not long ago.
Not long ago, no. But at least we didn't get a Z2 Compact in the middle. But looking back at that, it inherited all the same processing power, RAM, and camera from the Z1, and it looks like the Z3 Compact will do the same. So a high-performance quad-core processor, probably a Snapdragon 801, 3 gig of RAM, and a 20.7 megapixel camera. It looks like Sony has settled on that 20.7 megapixels. We've had it from the Z1 onwards now. Similar to Apple, who seems to be quite content with 8 megapixels and improves the camera with the software and the processing behind the scenes.
Well, that's the thing with mobile photography. You just need a good camera that takes half-decent resolution shots and makes a really good picture. You don't need 12 megapixels. I mean, there's a reason the iPhone is the most popular camera around, and that's because it takes good pictures quite easily. I mean, it doesn't have the power that you get with the Sony and you get with the Z3 Compact. But it's good to see people sticking, at least trying to tweak underneath. I mean, that 20 megapixel camera, 3 goes in a row, hasn't been brilliant yet. But I think hopefully Sony will get itself in gear and really work it out. So
we've got Galaxy Alpha, we've got the Z3 Compact. Let's talk quickly about the iPhone 6 and the latest rumours that we're hearing.
Yeah, that one, yeah. Well, I think the good news is looks like we're going to see it on September 9th, which is 2 days before my birthday. So everyone,
early birthday present.
Send a card in. But the main thing about that is obviously it keeps it consistent from year on year. So the iPhone 5, 5S, and now 6 will all launch on the same time. Doesn't look like it'll have a sapphire screen though.
No, reading that, but it will be tougher than Gorilla Glass, but not as tough as sapphire. So who knows? Who knows? I mean, it's not a huge issue. Glass is tough, but it will break at some point. It's never going to be indestructible. But the number of smashed iPhones I see out and about compared to any other phone, it's far greater. So you'd hope that this new technology may protect clumsy iPhone users a bit more.
Yeah, I think so. And it's one of those weird things where if Apple doesn't come with the iPhone 6 bringing a sapphire screen, there'll actually be some people that judge Apple for that. It's like the iPhone 5C. People say, well, this isn't cheap enough.
Yeah.
And it's like, when did Apple ever say it was making a cheap iPhone?
Yeah.
We all assumed it was because analysts said that it was the right way. But same thing again, if the sapphire screen doesn't come, then people will be like, well, Apple said it was going to, and it's not.
Another recent rumour says that it will come with NFC, which would be an interesting move from Apple, and it would be a very interesting move for the NFC technology as well.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think Apple's never said it's not going to do contactless. You know, we thought it would have come earlier, but if you look at the way the market is set, contactless payments and everything this year is starting to happen. And in the UK, you know, EE's been pushing hard, making
the
so
infrastructure is slowly getting there.
Yeah, it's going to be the idea that tapping with your phone, because it's not so much that Apple makes things cool, because that's a misnomer. You know, people are smart enough to know what phone does what, but Apple will make a bigger deal of it. That's the best thing about it. And when Apple makes a big deal of something, the same way when the iWatch turns up, it seems like people that aren't interested in technology, that's when they get involved. That's when they suddenly become aware of something. That's when the papers publish it. You know, it's a sad fact of life that even if it's been done 4 times before, if Apple does it, then it's front page news. So that, you know, and that will good. That will benefit other smartphone users. I still don't know if we're going to get both iPhone variants on September 9th. That is the date that we're going to see the launch. I can imagine seeing, you know, we've seen rumours of delay for the iPhone Air, Phablet, or whatever it would be. But it would make sense to have 2 separate events for that, because it kind of repositions, it keeps the flagship iPhone as the flagship iPhone, and that's what people should aim for.
Definitely. And then looking a bit further past the Sony, the Samsung, the Apple, into October, we may be getting a new Nexus.
Well, you know, every iteration of Android needs a big kind of hero product, and it's usually it's the tablet or the phone. It's usually the phone, because that makes most sense. And it's good to see that Google wants to keep with the Nexus range, because it provides a base layer for everyone else to work off. Interestingly, we haven't really seen who's going to make it this year, the Nexus. We keep seeing different rumours about different brands. You know, LG is one of the front runners again, but that would be 3 in a row. So
Motorola is also being hotly tipped as well more recently. And handsets like the Moto X and the Moto G and the Moto E are all running a basically vanilla version of Android already. So the firm's already sort of on board with Google's way of doing things anyway. So it would be easy for them just to go, right, let's...
And obviously they are really cheap, those Moto devices. And it would be interesting to see if that brings down the cost of the Nexus, because while in previous years the Nexus range has always been super cheap, super phone. You know, it's been the way to get a really good device without spending much money. We're kind of seeing, especially from like China and places, you can get that now without having to. You can get something even better. You know, the OnePlus One we've talked about loads of times, but that's better than the Nexus 5 by a long way, and it's cheaper.
Exactly. Yeah. So that does give Google a headache. And the Nexus 6, if it does exist, will have to be engineered price-wise to fit into the changing market.
So even though we're kind of in the low cycle for actual phone launches, there's still quite a lot to look forward to this year.
Definitely, yep.
You know, what would you know, come November, what's going to be your big hitter, do you think?
Well, the iPhone 6 is going to make waves whatever, because it's an Apple launch and there's a lot of fanfare around it, so it's going to be in your faces and you're going to know all about it. And I am interested because it looks like to be a relatively major change for the iPhone.
More than relatively.
Exactly. The 5 to the 5S was very... even the 4S to the 5, the design changed a bit.
4 to 5S, you haven't really seen a big difference. I mean, under the hood a little bit, you know, with Touch ID and
larger
stuff.
Screen, slightly thinner, but but the iPhone 6 looks to sort of change the game for the iPhone range anyway. So that'll be exciting. But it's also exciting to see, as Android L comes in as well, how will manufacturers adopt that? Will they actually be able to get on with it quickly?
Yeah.
And, you know, will we see the big phones of this year be quickly updated to Android L? And if so, that, you know, would really help them against the new iPhone. And new Nexus devices. I'm always interested to see a new Nexus device because, yes, they're highly affordable. I love pure Android from a personal view, and they're usually very well built. So there is a lot to look forward to. So I'd say iPhone and Nexus are the 2 big ones I'm looking for. And that's it for another phone show this week. Thank you very much for watching.
And if you want to find out more, see more from TechRadar for our phone show or the main show, you can like, subscribe or comment below if you want to say hello to Artie, who is joining us this week for the first time. Very exciting times, John.
Very exciting.
Very exciting. Thanks. That's it.